Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Definitely.
Today we're tackling something pretty interesting, I think. It's the connection between building good habits and boosting your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you set these goals for yourself and they just kind of slip away?
Oh, all the time.
We're gonna unlock the secret to actually sticking with them, right?
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that um, a lot of people think it's all about willpower.
Right.
It's really not. We're going to be unpacking a book by Teru Nakajima. He's a leading expert in self-esteem.
Okay.
And the book is called Habituation is 100% Self-Esteem. What you want to do will all come true.
Okay, I am intrigued with
Right.
that title.
Yeah.
But how? How does he actually make that link between habits and self-esteem? I mean, is it just like feeling good when you accomplish something?
It's way deeper than that. Nakajima says that most habit-building programs kind of miss a crucial step, and they focus on, like, the what and the how,
Okay.
but they don't focus on the why.
Right.
He argues that you need to have a solid foundation of self-esteem to really fuel those long-term changes.
Oh, so it's more about like who you are, not just what you're doing.
Exactly. He introduces this idea, this concept of the 6 emotions of self-esteem.
Okay.
They're like the building blocks
I like, yeah.
of a strong and confident you. And he actually compares them to a tree, which I think is fascinating.
Okay, I love a good analogy, so lay it on me.
Right? So imagine like the roots of a tree, right?
Yeah.
Those roots are self-respect, and it's like knowing your worth deep down.
Okay.
Then you've got the trunk. And the trunk is self-acceptance, like embracing all parts of yourself, even the messy bits.
So you can't have like strong branches without a good solid base.
Right, exactly. And those branches, those represent self-efficacy. That's your belief in your ability to achieve things. And then on those branches, you have the leaves.
Okay.
And those are self-trust. Can you rely on your own judgment? Can you make good choices?
Yeah, can you trust yourself? I'm seeing the connection here, but a tree needs more than just leaves and branches.
Of course. It needs to, like, bloom. Right?
Yeah.
It needs to bear fruit.
Yes.
So the flowers, those are self-determinate. You're the gardener, right?
Yeah.
You're shaping your life.
Shaping your life. Okay.
And then that fruit,
Yeah.
that's self-worth. That's that deep satisfaction that comes from, like, contributing to the world around you.
Wow. That is a really powerful image. What happens if, like, say the roots are weak or like the trunk is damaged? What happens then?
That's exactly what Nakajima warns against. If any one of these emotions is weak, it affects the whole tree, just like a disease.
Oh.
So, like, your self-esteem can't fully flourish, and then those habits you're trying to build, they might wither away.
So we need to tend to the whole tree, not just focus on like one branch.
Precisely. And that's where Nakajima's unique 6-step habit formation process comes in. Each step is directly strengthens one of those 6 emotions. It's like a workout plan
I like it.
for your self-esteem.
Okay, I am hooked. I am so hooked. Let's break down these steps. What's the first one?
Okay, so the first step, and this is crucial, is seed sowing.
Seed sowing. Okay.
And this takes place in the first, like, 2 days of forming a new habit.
Yeah.
This is all about tapping into that self-respect, like remembering your worth and choosing the right seeds to plant.
So it's not just like picking any random habit. It's really personal.
Absolutely. You need to define your why. Like, what's your desired self-image? What kind of person do you want to become?
This is blowing my mind. This is like intentionally designing your life, you know?
Exactly.
Like not just drifting along.
But buckle up, because step 2, this is where things get real.
Oh, no.
It's called resistance, and it covers days 2 through 8. This is where you need a healthy dose of self-acceptance.
Okay.
Because, let's face it, our brains are wired to resist change.
Ugh, tell me about it. Like that first week is always when I give up on my New Year's resolutions.
But here's the thing. Nakajima says that setbacks, they're inevitable. Instead of beating yourself up about it, embrace those slip-ups. Accepting that you're not perfect, that's key to moving forward.
So it's like being kind to yourself even when you mess up.
Yes. Now, if you can ride out that resistance wave, you enter step 3, which is perseverance.
Okay.
This is where self-efficacy comes into play, that belief that you can actually do this thing.
Okay, this is giving me hope already. So how long does this perseverance phase last?
From day 9 to day 21. And the focus here is on celebrating those small wins. Every time you stick to your new habit, even in a tiny way, you're proving to yourself that you're capable.
I can see how those small wins would really fuel your motivation to keep going. Okay, What's next?
Step 4 is it can be a little tricky for a lot of people. Nakajima calls it growth, and it takes place from day 22 to 31.
Okay.
You're making progress, but you might hit like a plateau, and those pesky doubts can start to creep in.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. It's like, am I really getting anywhere with this?
That's why self-trust is crucial in this stage. You have to trust the process. You have to trust your choices. Even when you don't see those immediate results, this is where that strong inner foundation really matters.
Okay, so we've gone through sowing, resisting, persevering, and now growing. What are the final 2 steps on this journey to like rock solid habits and sky high self-esteem?
Well, if you've successfully navigated those first 4 steps, get ready for step 5.
Blooming.
Blooming, I like it.
This is where your efforts truly blossom. From day 32 to 60, those new habits are starting to become automatic, integrated into your life.
That's amazing. But what about when, that initial excitement kind of fades away?
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated?
Nakajima has some brilliant techniques for that, which we'll get into later. But in this blooming stage, the key is to reconnect with your why. Remember that seed you planted back in step 1.
Yeah.
Visualize the person you're becoming. Okay, so it's about keeping the bigger picture in mind.
Exactly. And then finally you reach the summit. Step 6, achievement.
Achievement, yes.
This is from day 61 to day 66, and you're basking in the glow of your accomplishment. You're enjoying the fruits of your labor. You're feeling that incredible sense of self-worth that comes from achieving what you set out to do.
It's almost unbelievable to think that, like, in just over 2 months, a new habit could be fully ingrained and my self-esteem could be soaring.
And it's not just about the habit itself.
Right.
It's about how it transforms you as a person.
Yeah.
By mastering these 6 steps, you're not just building habits, you're nurturing each of those 6 emotions of self-esteem. You're growing into a stronger, more confident, more resilient you.
I am so pumped to dig into the specific techniques he recommends.
Yeah.
This feels like a whole new approach to personal growth.
It is. And you might be surprised by how simple and effective they are.
Okay.
So, are you ready to explore some of those game-changing strategies?
Absolutely. Let's unlock the secrets to making those good habits stick. All right, so let's get tactical here. What are some of the techniques that Nakajima suggests for actually putting these 6 steps into practice?
Well, he offers a whole toolbox of strategies, but one that really stood out to me is called reframing.
Reframing, like literally changing the way you think about things.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a fixed mindset, like, I can't do this, to a growth mindset. I can learn to do this. And it all ties back to boosting that self-respect in the seed sowing stage.
I see how that would be powerful, but how do you actually do that? It's one thing to say, like, think positive, but it's so much harder to actually shift those negative thought patterns.
Nakajima gets that. That's why he provides this tool called the Reframing Dictionary.
Okay.
And it's essentially a list of common negative thoughts and their more positive, empowering counterparts.
So instead of saying, like, I'm terrible at this, I would say, I'm still learning, and that's okay.
Exactly. It might sound simple, but consistently reframing those thoughts, it can make a huge difference in how you approach challenges, especially during those early days of habit formation.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've got reframing for seed sowing. What about when we hit that dreaded resistance phase? Any tips for riding out those inevitable setbacks with a little more self-acceptance?
Remember the 4 good things technique we talked about?
Right, the gratitude journal on steroids. But how does that tie into self-acceptance?
It's about shifting your focus.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you're intentionally seeking out and acknowledging the good, even on those tough days. Every night, you write down 4 positive things from your day, no matter how small.
So it's like training your brain to see the good even when you're tempted to just focus on the negative.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that you are more than your mistakes, and it helps you cultivate that self-acceptance. And that's crucial for navigating that resistance phase.
Love it. Okay, let's move on to perseverance. That's the stage where we need to really believe in ourselves, right? Boost that self-efficacy. What does Nakajima recommend?
One of his most practical techniques is called if-then planning.
Okay.
It's all about anticipating potential obstacles and creating a backup plan. So let's say your goal is to, go for a run every morning.
Oh, that's a good one. My nemesis. I always start out strong, and then life gets in the way.
That's where the if-then plan comes in. You might say, if I oversleep, then I'll do a 20-minute yoga routine at home instead. Or
Okay.
if it's raining, then a walk on the treadmill at the gym.
That takes the pressure off of being perfect, right? You're not giving yourself an excuse to quit. You're just adapting to the situation.
Exactly. It's not about willpower. It's
Yeah.
about strategy. And by sticking to your plan, even in a modified way, you're reinforcing your belief in your ability to follow through. And that strengthens that all-important self-efficacy.
This is making so much sense. Okay, I'm ready for the growth stage. That's the one where doubts can kind of creep in, even when you're making progress. How do we cultivate that deep self-trust to push through those uncertain times?
Nakajima suggests something surprisingly simple: expressive writing.
Wait, you mean just like venting all my frustrations on paper?
Yeah.
That's actually a technique.
It is, and it's incredibly effective. By getting those worries, anxieties, negative thoughts out of your head and onto paper, you create space for clarity and perspective.
It's like decluttering your mind.
Precisely. And as you gain perspective, you start to see things more objectively, which allows you to reconnect with your inner wisdom and trust your own judgment.
Okay. 2 more steps to go. We're at blooming now. Habits are starting to feel more automatic, but I can see how maintaining that momentum could be a challenge. Any tips for keeping that fire lit?
Nakajima offers a few great strategies here. First, remember the importance of reconnecting with your why that we discussed earlier. Visualize your future self. Really feel the positive impact of this new habit in your life.
Okay, so it's about keeping the bigger picture in mind. What else?
He also emphasizes the importance of self-care, especially in this stage. It's easy to burn out when you're pushing yourself to form these new habits.
Yeah.
So he recommends creating a coping list.
Intriguing. What's a coping list?
It's a personalized list of activities that boost your mood and help you recharge. It could include things like taking a walk in nature, listening to your favorite music, taking a hot bath, spending time with loved ones, anything that helps you de-stress and replenish your energy.
That's brilliant. It's like having a toolkit of self-care strategies at your fingertips whenever you need a boost.
Exactly. And it ties in perfectly with that self-determination we talked about. You're consciously choosing actions that support your well-being and help you stay on track.
This is so empowering. Instead of feeling like I'm at the mercy of my willpower, I'm like equipped with this whole arsenal of tools and techniques.
Yeah.
Okay, what about that final stage, achievement? What happens after we reach the summit?
Well, firstly, celebrate. Acknowledge how far you've come and savor that feeling of accomplishment. But Nakajima emphasizes that this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a new chapter.
So it's not about reaching like a destination. It's
Right.
about the ongoing journey of growth.
Exactly. And this is where the ripple effect comes in. Nakajima argues that successfully forming good habits, it not only benefits you personally, but it also has a positive impact on those around you.
Wait, so my good habits can actually inspire others. Tell me more about this ripple effect.
Think about it. When you're feeling confident and empowered, your energy shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You show up differently in your relationships at work and in your community. You inspire others to pursue their own growth.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's like this beautiful cycle. Taking care of myself allows me to better care for others.
And that brings us back to self-worth. That feeling of value we get from contributing to the world around us. It all comes full circle.
This is so inspiring. It's like, you know that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
When you prioritize your own well-being and you build those habits that support your growth, you have so much more to give to others.
Precisely. And what I think is so fascinating about Nakajima's approach is that it directly addresses that empty cup feeling.
Yeah.
By nurturing your self-esteem, you're essentially filling your cup so you can then generously pour into the lives of others.
So it's not selfish to focus on your own personal growth.
Right.
It actually makes us more capable of making a positive impact out in the world.
Exactly. And that's something I think a lot of people, they struggle with. We're so often told to put others first.
Mm-hmm.
But Nakajima argues that you can't truly help others if you're neglecting your own needs.
Wow. That's a powerful message. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into Nakajima's work, what's like the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing to remember is that building habits, it isn't about forcing yourself into these rigid routines or just relying on willpower. It's about cultivating self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
It's about nurturing those 6 emotions that empower you to become the best version of yourself.
It's about understanding that you're worthy of investing in yourself. You're worthy of pursuing your goals. You're worthy of experiencing the joy and the fulfillment that comes with living a life aligned with your values.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is it's never too late to start.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where you are on your journey,
Yeah.
Nakajima's framework offers this roadmap to success.
So true. Whether you're just beginning to think about building those better habits or you've tried and struggled in the past, this approach gives you the tools and the mindset to finally make those changes stick.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Find your support system, your cheerleaders, your accountability partners. Share your goals, celebrate your wins, and know that you have the power to create lasting, positive change in your life.
I always like to leave our listeners with like something to ponder, right?
Mm-hmm.
A question to spark further exploration.
Right.
So here it is. Now that you've seen this framework, what one habit feels most important for you to cultivate right now to become the person that you want to be?
That's a great question to reflect on.
Yeah.
What resonates with you most? What small step can you take today to start nurturing your self-esteem and building that brighter future?
Maybe it's finally starting that meditation practice you've been putting off. Or maybe it's setting aside time for a creative hobby that brings you joy.
Yeah.
Remember, even the smallest seed can grow into a magnificent tree.
And who knows? By this time next year, you might be sharing your own success story, inspiring others to embark on their own habit-building adventures.
That's what it's all about, sharing that ripple effect of positive change. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.